And we are live. Everybody, welcome back to the Point3 Podcast, Season 3, Episode 7. We are 2/3 of your favorite trio of hosts. Spider Brando to my left. How you doing today, man?
Doing pretty swell for a Wednesday.
Yeah,
It's always yap day.
it's yap time. The yappening is once again upon us. But yes, SB and myself, Hero Scroll, our third Lou will be away for this week, but don't you worry, he will be back soon. Everybody, we have to talk. Have to talk Daredevil Born Again. We're going to review the entire season, but also delving into the last episode that came out last night. And man, what an episode. What a finale. Super exciting stuff. But as always, make sure you are subscribed to us here on YouTube and also wherever you listen to all your major podcasts. Make sure you follow our socials. Follow us on Discord because they eat first. As always, we got a couple of movie nights that will be announced soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. But SB, let's kick it off. Without further ado, the three most important things that we do every week: keep watching, keep reading, and keep nerding out. Kicking us off for keep watching, something that I think kind of flew under the radar because of the finale, but I definitely wanted to give its props to. The Last of Us Season 2 started on Sunday. As someone who has never played these games and only really watched Season 1, I know what happens in the story. I was excited, and hey, I was definitely satisfied with what I saw. So if you haven't, definitely watch Season 1 because it's well worth a watch. One of the most emotional and emotionally draining shows too. Fantastic stuff. But yeah, Season 2, can't wait to see what it's gonna give us in that.
So I have to watch Season 1. I can't lie. I was never into the video games because I was always a Xbox person growing up. But I've heard I think I own like the remastered edition for the PS4. I just haven't gotten to playing it yet. I'm excited for Season 2. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it so far.
Yeah. The one episode was great, and I was gonna say though, you probably own some version.
What's up, Barzy? Also,
yeah. What is up, everybody in chat? Hey, Barzy, thank you for you guys for being here tonight. But yeah, no, you'll probably own it because it's been re-released so many times since its original. So yeah, you probably have some version of it, whether it's remaster 1, 2, or 10.
True.
Yeah. All right.
Pedro doing good in it though. Just one question on it.
Absolutely. This was interestingly, I think we talked about this on our Discord between just us the three of us when Pedro got announced as Reed. Just so many people kind of similar situation where they're like, oh, he can't pull the character off, blah blah blah, he's not that great of an actor, and now he kind of is Joel. Like, people see him and he is Joel. And I think the same is going to happen with Reed, where a lot of people are like, oh, he's not Reed material yet. I think he's going to shape the character for a lot of people. So yeah, Pedro's a fantastic actor, and this is no less.
He truly is. Trailer 1 of Fantastic Four better prove his Reed.
Yeah, I'm sure it will soon. He'll get his chance in the sun for us to talk about it. I'm certain of that.
100%. But I would like to talk about something I started reading in the Marvel universe that has to do with Reed Richards. I finally started the OG 1984. Is it 84 or 87? I think it was 84, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, 1984 Secret Wars comic run. And those first 2 issues, I got like 2.5, 3 issues in. Very good. The cover of issue 2 is freaking amazing. And as soon as I got to it, I was like, holy bejesus. I took a picture of it I didn't even screenshot it on my iPad. Now that I'm thinking about it, I could have just screenshot it on my iPad. It was so cool. I straight up I took a picture on my phone. I'm like, damn, I gotta
Yeah,
document this.
the one with I
With
had to look it
Magneto
up.
in the
Yep,
cover. Yep. It's
I
like
had to look it
Magneto in
up.
the middle and like all the villains cover because it's the villains kind of like getting together for the first time. But just reading those first 2 issues and knowing what we're gonna get with like this Doomsday and Secret Wars, and after like reading this post the chair reveal, it's got me like, holy crap! Like they could either do this so well or so terribly bad because nothing is interconnected like it was in those stories of all these people kind of like meeting up. But then also, it's a lot of heroes meeting up for the first time, kind of like it is going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars, that like MCU that we're getting.
Oh yeah,
So it's a very. I haven't read the 2015 Secret Wars. I will preface that also. Like fully through. I know like background of it, but I'm excited to see what they're gonna do and continue reading the 84 run. I love Doom so far. I understand why Doom is everybody's favorite villain antagonist and why he's Thwip's favorite villain antagonist. Because Doom cooks in there.
yeah,
Everything he says is just Doom this, Doom that, and I love it.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic. I'm really glad you're reading this because we are gonna do something soon with this. Just sneak peek for all the viewers or listeners. But yeah, the original is super cool for many different reasons, right? Especially looking back on it, it definitely was the first big crossover for heroes, and it was actually meant for selling toys. That was the whole reason they did this, is because DC was outselling them with toys. So they're like, hey, we need to get in on that. And then Secret Wars ended up becoming one of the best selling comics ever.
Very reading about that.
Yeah. So yeah, super cool series. We'll definitely chat about it. And yes, Doom is the central focus on both of them. So I think if you read this, you will kind of get a good understanding of that. And Barzy in chat asking, is Doom in your guys' top 5 Marvel villains? Yes or no, and why or why not? I will definitely say for me, he's definitely a top 5 villain. Where he lands in that top 5, I'd actually have to think about, and I think that's a whole nother episode on its own. But so many reasons, but definitely one of the most iconic, if not iconic villains of all time, and probably top 5 villain in any and all of comic books.
I would say he's definitely top 5, probably top 3 for me, just from his Marvel Ultimate Alliance stuff alone.
Mm-hmm.
That shit, growing up on Ultimate Alliance, oh my god, yo, I know what Chef's Kiss emo we need now.
A Doom
one. Oh,
I feel like it would need to be its own thing, though, if that makes sense. Like Doom is so unique that it would, I don't know, you'd have to break the Chef's Kiss mode, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
What if it's doing the tough Doom with the chef's hat? I don't know.
It could work. It could work.
I don't know. We'll brainstorm in Discord.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely. I think I do agree. Top 3 in all of Marvel for sure. We'll definitely do an episode on that because that's something we've actually talked about before between us in our private chats. It's just hard because that can devolve into a 5-hour long episode.
Categories.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy for sure. But we'll definitely, everybody listening, when we do that episode of like top Marvel villains and top comic book villains, we'll definitely let you guys know so everybody can be there for that one, because I know that episode would be a lot of fun. But speaking of villains, SB, we were talking about it before. So for Keep Nerding Out, a couple weeks ago we had our Century deep dive, right? And we went through his whole comic history and we were like, hey, he's dead. He hasn't been back. That was wrong. I found
Times are
out that was
changing.
wrong. Times are changing. As of apparently since February, technically the Sentry is back within the Marvel Universe, but he's now Luke Cage in Power Man Timeless. So in the current comic book ongoings, right? Power Man is from the future, and he basically has, like, from my understanding, I haven't fully read it yet, but from my understanding, has combined powers with a bunch of people now, and the Sentry is a part of that. Yeah, it's very odd. But as of today, issue 3 of that series came out today. And spoiler alert for people listening that haven't read it or want to read it, but the Void is back. The Void is officially back. The last time we saw him getting absorbed by Null. So it's been upwards of 3-4 years since we've seen the character. I'm excited. That's my keep nerding out.
I like it. I'm going to add to your keep nerding out because I'm not up to date on that comic run. But today we did get some MCU Void footage with the new Thunderbolts final trailer. It's only 2 minutes, the shortest trailer they've dropped. And they also dropped a point marker off the star. You went from six asterisk point things on there, now down to 5. And they're really not hiding that someone's potentially going to die in this film, and that some person that's not even in this trailer and was not even in the Doomsday cast and Taskmaster is probably on her way out. But I'm nerding out about the trailer overall because it kind of sold a lot more of the, like, true emotional aspect of, like, what the movie could truly do, more so than just, like, the practical action that they've shown off, and kind of like the deeper why behind, like, getting this group of heroes, not heroes, together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited for it. I will definitely talk about it in the future as it gets closer. I got my tickets the other day, seeing it that Friday night. Yeah, Friday night at like 10 p.m.
Perfect.
So I'm excited. Can't wait.
No, that's perfect. Yeah. Exactly 16 days away from Thunderbolts.
16? Damn, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 16 days away. Tomorrow will be half a month, and we will have another Marvel movie in our hands. One that I think a lot of us weren't expecting to be as ready or as hyped for as we are. Yet here we are. Yeah.
Nobody watched our video. Actually, everybody watched our video of how Thunderbolts is going to be the worst movie of all time, and then we'll circle back to that in a couple weeks.
I know. Yeah, let's.
I love that video though. It's at the time. It's so fun to watch back because it was sounding like nothing like what we're getting in these trailers.
No,
and that's just the problem with leakers and rumor scooping and stuff on Twitter. X, whatever.
Yeah.
Insiders.
For those that I was going to say, for those that no. I was going to say, for those that don't really know what SB's talking about, I'm trying to look it up now, but I think around this time last year,
I have a
or I think a little after,
probably. I remember doing a nude post for it.
So March 2nd is when the video came out. We were talking about the reports that were just coming out. A lot of it didn't sound super favorable. And it's just about 8 minutes of us just basically hating on the movie and not even knowing what it was. So it's just based on the lineup, based on what we heard. Again, how times have changed, but definitely go watch it, because I think that is how a lot of us were. A lot of the fandom was. And then also March 2nd in 2024, we had just came off 23, and 23 was a really weird year for Marvel in general, like Marvel Studios films and projects. So I think we were a little hurt.
You know what? I think it was back then, before, like, when I'm looking at the rumors at the time, there was apparently something came out about no Ross or Red Hulk being in it and no Tiamat Island being in it. And honestly, that was before we really knew that, like,
Yeah.
we were gonna get Sentry and stuff. So just like knowing what the Thunderbolts were in the comics and how associated they were, and kind of having that flip flop between Cap and Thunderbolts, I think we're cooking right now.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have Sentry in this than Red Hulk in this, 100%.
Yeah, I think we were, again, it was just going off the rumors, and then I think Sentry was also like a heavy rumor. Like there was no confirmation. It was just
Steven Yeun.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a thrown out there kind of thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Change.
Yeah, as our friend comes by my window,
that doesn't change.
That won't change. No.
You know what does change? Daredevil.
What? Daredevil.
Daredevil. Some people may say change for the worst, change for the best. I think change for the best with the new but old showrunners at the helm, and how hyped I am for season 2 after that crazy finale.
Yeah. Let's dive right into it. So yesterday, April 15th, along with making sure that your taxes were done. Right.
I didn't even check if mine got taken out. I didn't get any notifications from my bank app. So
I was gonna say, SB, don't say this live because the IRS might be watching. So IRS, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe, but ignore that from what he just said. It's okay.
I meant like my account like being like negative from like too much tax. Like that's it from it. Like
I know
with overdrawn. I'm fine. I'm paying them. Don't worry. I'm paying the heck out of them.
Yeah. At least you don't want Mayor Fisk coming after you. You definitely don't want that. But SB, yesterday, season 1 of Daredevil Born Again finished. Before we delve really into the finale, I know we've kind of been reviewing these weekly, but it has been a little bit now since we've kind of talked about, the first couple of episodes. So overall, right, how did you feel about the show? Or season 1 of the show?
I've been surrounded by a lot of people that really like it, like us, and Discord meets and stuff. And I've also been surrounded by a lot of people that hate it. So I've been hearing kind of a lot of both sides of it, and I think it's kind of changed how I thought about the show throughout this season. But overall, I enjoyed sitting through every single episode when I was sitting at this desk and watching it and interpreting it. Except for maybe a couple moments where I'm like, okay, this is like a little boring, or I talked about the CGI pretty much every time I talk about it in episode 1, but that's just like a little stupid pet peeve. Overall, I thought it was very good, and I pretty much every episode was at least above an 8 for me. And seeing Matt and Kingpin get into their masks again and come out of their masks, but get into their masks by the end of the season. It's some great storytelling in there, and a lot of people don't understand that, like, the point, as crazy as this show's production was, or make that like a little, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for dealing with all that. I think they handled it decently well to kind of get it back to where it should be. And overall, a lot of changes that they made were necessary to develop the show, because at the end of the day, it's a Daredevil show. And I don't know. I just thought I can't say high enough things about it without going into too many spoilers before we make the official spoiler warning. But I do want to keep it non-spoiler for a little bit, just for those who haven't watched.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, overall, it's just freaking phenomenal. Episode 8 and 9 were some peak, like, everything about them, the score, cinematography, the, action, especially in the finale, oh my god, so good. Even the courtroom episode from episode 4, I still look back on, I'm like, sure, it was probably the most, like, a boring one, but, like, I was still engaged for it being in a courtroom the entire time and, like, seeing the whole legal battle aspect of it and kinda, like, the morality duality of what the jury was going through. It really felt like being, like, a part of that stand. And I think the show was just great. It deserves, like, a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with you, right? I think for a while there it was teetering on that 8, like 7.58 for me personally, but nothing ever jumped out of me as outwardly bad. Like every episode I watched, I was like, no, okay, I enjoyed this. And obviously there are going to be some that are stronger than others, right? But again, I don't think there's one that I would point to that I would be like, oh, we didn't need that, or it was a waste of time, or just straight bad. Like I can't say that about an episode. And when a show does that, I think it needs big time, like genuine. You have to give kudos to the show.
Mhm.
Because especially nowadays when a lot of people are our attention is always being pulled elsewhere between so many things, right? For a show to have us there for as long as Daredevil did and consistently making us want to watch the series, talking about it for an entire week. Again, I can't think of a superhero show that did this in that way. So major props. It made use of everything that it really had in store.
Especially a Disney Plus show. This is hands down the best Disney Plus show.
Oh, bar none. Bar none. Yeah.
It's better than a Loki. And my cousin's gonna kill me for saying that because he absolutely hates this show and adores Loki as like the number one project in the MCU all time. I think this is better. So his standards are his rankings are weird, but it's great stuff. Just everything I've been seeing from season 2 also. Oh my god.
Yeah. No set leak photo discussion here for those that don't want. But yes,
Thanks
looking
for
great. But yeah, like I was saying, it doesn't waste anything that it does, and I don't think it wastes its side characters. I don't think it wastes moments. I don't think it wastes plot points, right? Everything was very intentional within this show. And the things that it set up, it paid off. And then the things that were set up for season 2, I think were set up very well, unless it left us satisfied for the moment. Right. The side characters, all of them great, played their roles perfectly, connected into the story in a way that made a lot of sense for characters. They didn't feel like they were shoved in our faces or out of nowhere, better said. They didn't feel like they were just shoehorned in. Like these characters had a purpose and they played them perfectly. The people that I saw that didn't like this are the ones, and I think SB, we've kind of talked about this both on the pod and off the pod, were people who expected more action out of it.
Free action though.
I think so too. I think there's a lot of people that when they're like not going 100% of the time, they're like, oh, this is kind of boring. I think that, and then also the people who wanted it to be so similar to the Netflix show that I think they couldn't get over that. Right. And I think they couldn't really try to give this show what it was. Because yes, this does, and I would say maybe just for a very tiny piece of it, does continue on the Netflix trend, right? But it ends up becoming its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
It
differentiates itself a good amount. Just from
absolutely,
like the score alone. Like it has all like the great themes from the old show, but like different higher pitched pianos and stuff like that.
yeah.
Which I personally really like the new theme and sound and everything.
I do too. Yeah. Yeah. Score was great. Music was great. The way they
Punisher
used.
scenes were saucy roams. Yes, they were.
Yeah. We're definitely going to get to the Punisher because I think there's a lot to unpack in that last episode. We haven't gotten there yet, Rome's, in terms of the last episode yet. But the way that they did the effects to again show Matt's powers, right? Show perspectives.
Amazing.
Yeah, show perspectives between everybody else, right? Because they do it with other people. Man, I can't sing the praises of this show high enough. Like if you didn't watch it, I would. If you didn't watch it, please watch it. If you fell off because maybe episode 1 wasn't your thing, please keep going. Try to finish it. And if you don't like it, hey, that's perfectly fine. But I do think give it a genuine shot and like try to not view it from thinking like, oh, it's not Netflix Daredevil. That's very true. It's not. But be open minded, and I think you'll be.
It still is at its core. It still kind of is.
Yeah, and I said this last week, and I'm gonna say it again. This show treats you like you're smart because if you didn't watch the Netflix show, then I still think you can pick up things very easily and understand the characters very well. But if you did watch them, I think you get something extra out of them. And that's a mark of a show that knows its audience well.
I'm very interested to see how people react to this show from a straight binge watching instead of watching it weekly. Because I feel like a lot of complaints that these many people had from like a lot of complaints I saw about the side characters not being developed and stuff like that. I think by the end of the season, it's like perfectly fine. But throughout
Agreed.
each episode, they're like, oh, like, why is there no like Cherry or Kirsten by like episode 5? And I'm like, dude, we're like 5 episodes in and do you not see all this other shit going on? I don't even care about seeing them at the moment. Like, who cares if they don't have their moments 5 episodes in? Let the rest of the season play out. And people, I don't think we're long term thinkers like that, but I think by the end of the show, they all had their great development and kind of proved why they were. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. Kind of proved themselves to be part of Matt's life. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and important to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
I really liked it.
Yeah, fantastic show, genuinely. And I know we throw that word around, or a certain word is thrown around a lot, but peak, I think this is closer to like what the definition of peak should be.
I think so.
So again, if you haven't, definitely watch it. But I think this will be a good spot to kind of end our non-spoiler. In case you want to say something, yeah.
I want to give Lou's thoughts as his as an honorary mention because I do have them.
Oh yeah,
since he couldn't make it. So some thoughts from our highly missed Funko Lou co-host, obviously from Point 3. For those that are watching for the first time, as one who was very not openly critical, but had high expectations for this show going into it. He, by the time it's over, has given it an 11 out of 10 from beginning to end and arguably the best MCU show of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I asked when we were doing our preview videos, I remember because this is a very good clip that I had from a social post was saying how this show by the end of the season, 100% for him, had to be better than The Penguin. And he said it is way past Penguin for him. Kingpin over Penguin, and then add in all the others, and it's not even close. He said, I'll always give the nod to a show exceeding already high expectations after a few down appearances versus a show with minimal expectations surprising fans. Which I think the show had extremely high expectations, as we've all talked about from the Netflix connections and everything, versus Penguin, not really.
Mm-hmm.
No one was expecting too much out of that, which is still a great show. Don't get me wrong. Like, they're both great shows here, but I'm just conveying that this is how much higher and how good Lou thought it was compared to already great show. His MVP for it was Matthew Murdock, specifically Matt Murdock, not the Daredevil persona. And I don't really remember exactly which episode this was. I feel like I should, but favorite moment of the show, I'll see for the spoiler territory.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure his reference was for episode 1. I'm pretty sure. I feel like either that or
I feel like there's a lot of
either that or number 2
happened.
Either that or the second episode.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, and again, right, and all of us I think had different levels of expectations for the show, but I think overall we were definitely excited for it. And chat, please chime in as well with your guys' thoughts. Like Rome saying, I think season 2 will be better. Last half was a lot better. Again, I think some people will definitely echo that statement, and I do think season 2 will be better because this did lay a good foundation for not just Daredevil, but the entire street level. Like, I could really see them if they wanted to. I don't think they will. Again, mainly because of Doomsday coming up so soon after season 2. But I could see a world where they really cement the street level with that and blow it up from there and really have Kingpin be your kind of like street level event final boss for a big movie. I could really see that happening if it wasn't for the current state of the MCU.
Rights.
And the rights as well. But I feel like they would work that out, honestly. I think it more comes in the way of what the MCU is trying to do in general.
Yeah. Well, in a way, you bring that up, though. That's why I think they're rushing through Doomsday and Secret Wars like this so that they can just get back to the street level post everything. And that's why they're kind of setting it up like simultaneously. Kind of like what we were hoping for a couple years ago. It's just kind of like culminating. It feels weird.
Yeah, potentially and hopefully, right? But we'll see what ends up happening. Nate saying Devil's Reign, please. And I think that would have been like a perfect kind of final event for the street levels, is culminating in something like a Devil's Reign.
Avengers Devil's Reign right now.
Yeah, you don't even have to call it. You could call it Defenders.
I know, just straight
you could
up
call
Devil's Reign.
Yeah, Devil's Reign. Yeah, and I think people would eat that up. But yeah, great show. So again, if you haven't seen it yet, or if you've only seen bits and pieces and don't want the rest spoiled, I think consider this your official spoiler warning, because we are going to delve more into spoilers, and then also more specifically for the finale review, because we haven't done that yet. We've talked about all the other episodes. We're talking about episode 9, Straight to Hell is the title of that episode, and I think that is very apt for what we got. SB,
I feel like I'm going there after watching what I just watched.
Yeah, there's some harrowing stuff in there, but before we get to that scene, because I think there's a lot to unpack before and after that. Again, overall thoughts on the episode?
Amazing. so good. The way they picked it up from episode 8, kind of like recapping the whole shot scene and showing from like all different perspective or all different angles, I thought was great. Had the little bullseye right through Bullseye's head, and the whole intro of what, like during the recap of just kind of like what Matt says throughout the season, I thought was kind of like a perfect summary of the show, and I've been waiting for the spoiler section to bring it up. He starts it off. This episode starts off by saying, "We put Poindexter away, and it changes nothing. We defend Hector Ayala, and he's still murdered. Heather's assaulted by Muse, and she thinks Fisk is right. And this is us what we do feels useless." And that's what the point of the entire freaking show is, for Matt to go through all this stuff as not being like Daredevil and losing his rock with Foggy, and like everything that he tries to do to set right as the right procedural way to do it doesn't freaking work out. So he starts kind of thinking about the whole Punisher conversation, and I just think that's really good. And if you have been critical of this show, of it being like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on in there," or like it's done nothing, which is just the recap is everything that you need just be to develop Matt's character and kind of push him back into the he's got to be Daredevil again, and got to like actually like just focus up and not be so unhinged like he is, and start freaking getting to work.
Yeah.
And that's just
Yeah.
from I thought that set the finale up very well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I love how they kind of continue that with like the first thing that he does when he wakes up is back to Foggy, back to Vanessa Fisk, and being like, "Hey, we have to figure this out." And Heather being like, "Nope." Basically, her like I really feel like mentally checking out of her relationship with Matt. And Kirsten kind of really picking it up finally, in terms of like, okay, no, there's something bigger going on, and like I think genuinely have to kind of take it seriously, right? And I think it was just, I love the way, and SB, I would love to hear your thoughts in chat as well. I know this is kind of going kind of off topic, but not really. I love the way that Kingpin twists all of this into something in his favor to keep going with his agenda, keep going with the optics of it all. So my main question for you, and again, chat, is Kingpin redeemed? And not redeemed in terms of like, oh, is he the good guy? No, because we know he's not. If you watch this episode, you know he's not. I'm talking about, is the Kingpin we've wanted back? And
Yes.
we can use the entire show as an example, but is he back?
Yes, 100%. I think he was back for me during the whole once we found out that he's been just I'm not gonna say that word, that he's been locking up.
Keeping Adam for
Yeah,
yeah.
keeping
Mhm.
Adam locked up and behind those bars. I think that was kind of like what really sold me. Like, damn, like he's doing some sneaky, shady kingpin stuff again. But I mean, you get to see it just the way he talks to all of his advisors, and how he straight up tells one of his advisors that has all these years in politics experience to screw off because he didn't like what she said. And you kind of like you see him have his moments that just kind of build and build and build. And truly, if you don't think he's the old kingpin after bursting a dude's head in this episode, I don't know what else needs. I don't know what else he has to do. Like
Yeah.
that was crazy for me. I there's a couple I had to turn my head away from the screen, and I was
Listen,
like, oh
yeah.
my bejesus.
Yeah, listen, for those that don't know and don't care about the spoilers, basically what we're alluding to,
We are in spoiler territory, so yeah.
but what happens is that Commissioner Gallo, basically Unfortunately, when he did this, I was like, "Oh, dude, please don't do it there." In the courthouse or in the mayor's office, is talking to her name is Sheila, his advisor, Kingpin's advisor. After he just had a talk with her about loyalty and everything, he tells her that he's going to go appeal to the higher courts to basically get Fisk out of office. And she lets Fisk know, and then he does what Kingpin has done in comics for a very long time, where he grabs someone's head and makes it go pop.
Crazy.
And what was crazy to me is that this is something that we've seen in comics again for ages now. You know, you read Frank Miller's Daredevil, you read Ultimate Spider-Man. They always kind of show that that's something that he does, but you never see it. But you always see the reaction of all the characters, and they're like disgusted. Like they genuinely cannot look at the man because it makes them physically sick. And I think we got that because genuinely, I don't see him the same anymore. Like you look at him and you're like, no, okay, this dude genuinely is one of the most deplorable persons on planet Earth. It changes the way I think the audience views him very quickly. And for that reason alone, I think he's better for it. The character's better for it. I don't think Kingpin is not just back. I think he's better than what he was.
Ooh. Honestly, I think so too. I mean, he's got way more power than he's ever had at the moment. So that alone is just like scary because we know how crazy he was without being a freaking mayor. And now he's a mayor, businesswoman, or businessman. Has a businesswoman with Vanessa that knows her stuff now. And God, yeah, he is. He's better than Pac. Now that you brought that up, I was not thinking of him being better. I was just like, yeah, he's back, but he's freaking better.
Yeah.
What you know what we got in Echo, I think it's redeemed, and I don't care of it being so like bad of how much we didn't like it with Hawkeye and Echo anymore. This saved it for me entirely.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Nate in chat saying really quick, Kingpin is officially back. They took the feedback from the audience for how he was treated in Hawkeye and Echo and D'Onofrio's advice and molded him back into the Fisk we all know and love. Again, I don't know if love is the word we have for him anymore, but I definitely do think it's the character we've been wanting to see for a couple of years now. SB, I think you had a thought before we read that.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't know if you had anything else to say. I listened to the directors talking about the season finale, and they did the head pop in two takes. The first take, I just thought this was a cool fun fact. The first take, they described it as like, damn, they actually did that, and like those cast members were like genuine. Like it looks so real and just like so scary that like those are mostly like genuine reactions because it just felt so real. And they only did 2 takes because the first take was kind of like just a test to see how the blood and everything would like splatter and how it would come out colorized for whatever they concocted with it. And the second take was all they needed after the adjustments, and that was what we got.
Yeah.
And they kind of perfected it with the whole. I've been see. You know what I hate about that so much is the people that made it a GIF, and every time I go on Twitter, it's just a dude's head getting freaking clapped like that, and I'm like, at least put a sensitivity warning on it.
They're like, no.
I love the scene because of. I don't love the scene. Some dude got his head destroyed, but like. I like what it did for the Kingpin character and kind of to show his crazy powerness and who's the boss in New York City at the moment.
Yeah.
But man, these freaking gifts are disturbing my time on.
Yeah, it evolves him into something again, just more dangerous and more sinister. And I think the fact that they did this practical, because they did it with a head mold, and I saw it on a behind the scenes, like a collage of like behind the scenes photos that a lot of the actors and directors shared. Yeah, it's a head mold that they do, so that's why it looks so realistic, and you get this visceral reaction because you're like, "Holy crap!" Because sometimes when you watch things like that, if it's CGI, you can kind of look at it and be like, okay. For example, I think in Deadpool and Wolverine, when Cassandra Nova offs Human Torch, like yes, it is gory, but because it's CGI, you see this like skeleton and like all this clearly fake intestines.
That's what really fucks me up on that.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, like that looks fake, but he was like, ooh, oh, okay, that all right. This man, like, oh, genuinely, I looked away for a minute, and then I had to rewind because I'm like, no, tough it out, and then I kind of wish I didn't. That's me being 100% honest with everybody. And normally, I'm someone that I don't care. Like I can. I'm not look at it, but like I can
with, like,
power through it
and stuff. Head stuff I don't like. I remember there's this movie, I'm just really off topic. There's a movie called The Abominable from like 2005. One of my worst nightmares as a kid was my dad forced me to sit through that movie, and in one of the scenes it's straight up like the abominable snowman just eating a whole dude's head, like whole. And like just a whole like bite mark crushing the skull. And I was like 6 years old at the time watching this, and it just like scarred me. So seeing this head stuff just brings up those times, and I'm like, damn.
It brings a reaction.
Abominable movie night. Just kidding.
I was gonna say I don't think you want that.
Don't want that.
Yeah, and Nate, to your point, in episode 1, he's eating 1 asparagus and minimal eggs. By the last 5 episodes, he's having full-on meals with like 10 plates all around him, 100%. And I think that's something we had pointed out towards the midway point where his meals were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't think it's just the meals, it's all the pressure, it's all the hate that he has built up, pent up, that I think that's what fuels him again. And yeah, that's really dangerous. And all of this, I know we've spent some time on that, but all of this, all that does is really, when the heroes eventually beat him, they're going to feel like $1 million. Because I think right now, at least for me, I saw this and I'm like, how are they going to beat Kingpin? Like, there's literally as of right now, there's no way they do.
They need the Avengers, the Thunderbolts, Spider-Man, like just bring in Devil's Reign, baby.
Yeah, they need help big time. So now when Matt beats him and whoever he has help with, it's going to feel good. It's going to feel like a big time accomplishment.
It's, I remember when the Penguin was ending, everyone on social media was just like, oh, I can't wait for Batman to just beat the crap out of Penguin because of how the finale ended. I feel exactly the same way about Daredevil. If anything, I want Punisher to beat the crap out of Kingpin after what I saw Punisher do to everybody in this damn episode. Holy crap. Both of them together. Why not? That would be like a really crazy finale ending to the show of them just, both of them just giving it all to Kingpin.
Yeah. Let's kind of touch on Punisher, because that's the one thing that we also haven't chatted. Him and Matt, and I think we'll get to Matt last because clearly the setup is for him. But Frank Castle coming back in this episode, coming in after a call from Karen to help Matt out.
Got that clean fade so fast after that call.
Yeah, he said, "Baby mama called me. Hold on." He said, "Hold on, let me shave and help out." I like the fact that she called him though, because it's twofold, where it's like, one, obviously gives us Punisher coming back, but it also shows that she knows that Matt by himself can't do this. And he needs somebody that will do the things that he won't. And that is Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Frank is going to do all of the things that he will not. And he straight up says it to him as soon as he comes in the apartment and they start talking about the task force. He's like, "Did you clock that?" He goes, "Yeah, they're going to come in." And he goes, "By the way, when they come in here," I think he says, like, "I'm chopping them up." And what does he do? They come in and he starts doing just that.
Hey, he had a promise to fulfill, you know?
Yeah. I don't think it was just about the promise, though. Yeah, he needed it. Yeah. He was going to do whatever it took, I think, on his own, because it was also him coming back to being the Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
And again, their dynamic, so well done.
I love it
so well done.
much. I think they were some of my favorite duos in, I guess, in any TV screen duo character. I don't know what the correct term for it is, but great. They're very great together. So I'm getting
their chemistry on screen is great. Yeah.
I could watch, if you give me a Daredevil and Punisher show, kind of like Deadpool and Wolverine, like just like Daredevil and Punisher, I'd watch infinity seasons of that. Give me that rooftop scene injected into my veins 24/7, and I'd be happy.
I was gonna say, though, you kind of got that in here.
Oh, we did. That we got a great technical, I guess, rooftop penthouse scene.
yeah, technically, yeah. But yeah, I mean, just the way that they were bouncing off each other.
I can't. I'm pulling a loop of a couple episodes ago.
No, that's all right. But yeah, no, they did that by their dynamic and the way they were talking to each other. The fact that as soon as Frank starts killing, Matt is trying to stop him, trying to take down the task force before Frank does, because he knows if he gets to him first, they're not getting back up.
Duality.
Yeah, great stuff. And then the fact that he's just like, what does he tell him? Matt tells him, it's the same thing with you. You're always a liability.
Dude, it's so crazy. Just seeing Frank go slow-mo, just grabbing a freaking gun and stabbing some dude. Insane.
Yeah. I would dare say more
he
brutal.
He brought up, I forgot what the exact quote was. Something about how just how dirty those cops were and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So he knows who he's dealing with. And I love when they have Cole North kind of down and Matt is
I have a question for you on Cole after this.
Okay. Yeah. I love how Matt is contemplating on what he should do, and just Frank is there, just do it. He's just do it, right? And Matt's like, he's not worth it. He's not worth it. He has to say it for himself because ultimately he does want to. I feel like he does want to. It's just he knows he shouldn't.
Oh, 100%. Just like how he felt with when he pushed freaking Bullseye off the building in episode 1.
Yep.
But he held himself back this time.
Yep.
But I have a question. I don't know anything about Cold North comic-wise or whatever, but I keep on seeing so much stuff on social media today about how his death in this episode is one of the biggest wastes in, like, Marvel, and just, like, how stupid and could have been so much better. Or like the character could have been so much better. I'm like, I've never heard of Cold North until I logged into Twitter today.
Yeah, he in chat, somebody who's more familiar with the Zdarsky run, because I've read bits and pieces here. I know he debuted in that, and he is a cop. I don't know how far he goes. However, what I will say, okay, Nate's saying Cole was introduced in Zdarsky's run, and he was not a dirty cop. He was a cop tasked with taking down Daredevil without really knowing why. So,
Okay.
and
A
I
lot
think
of the posts I saw were like character assassination posts for
and my
Cole.
thing is, I don't think so. Right? I don't feel like they did that with him. Not only because I don't know the character, but it's also like, let's be honest, we didn't see a body. He could have easily
Sure.
gotten out of there. I know he was hurt. I know he was shot,
All I
but
did is get whacked in the face, and that was
yeah, who's to say he didn't get out of there or just simply survived it? You know, I could see him coming back. I really can. So for those that are like, oh, they wasted, I don't think so. And even if they did, as much as it would suck, I think the MCU has done greater offenses to characters than Cole North. So I think we'll be okay. Sadly, but we'll be okay.
I think so too.
Yeah. Nate saying Fisk was behind it all to take down Daredevil and had Cole being a leader and enforcer to him. Matt eventually tells Cole what really happened, and he abandons the corrupt NYPD to stand up to Fisk. And again, if we kind of look at what the show was kind of setting up when they do introduce Cole, most of the other task force are they are dirty, but in a different way. Cole's kind of demotion came from him dealing with a drug dealer with a kid, and clearly that there is no moral area there. That is clearly wrong, and the whole use of force is a different conversation. But if we really want to think about it objectively, did he do something bad? I think a lot of people would be like, no, because it was a child. So he's the only one that I think out of all of them really felt like if they were going to redeem one of the task force, it would be him.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. Yeah, hopefully he gets his redemption. Maybe. Yeah, dude, this episode cooked. I do have another question for you.
Go for it.
Not about Cole, but are you as well? I think, Hero, you were the one that was really excited or had brought it off how in the Born Again comic run when Kingpin blew up Daredevil's house. Are you satisfied with this, that his little penthouse got blown up as kind of an homage to that?
Yes.
Issue?
There was a lot of homages to it in like small little ways that I was like, okay, this feels like Born Again. Like it's its own twist to it, but this feels like Born Again, and I'm happy.
When Karen and Matt were talking a little bit, I don't know why, but no, they were actually. I don't know. The Born Again comic run is fuzzy for me at the moment, so I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
but
I think the way that they, cool. Yeah, I think the way that they did some of the places or like some of the changes for it were really nice, and I think there were some nice callbacks to it. So I think it in ways of both paying homage to the comic and in its own, I think it earned the Born Again subtitle.
I like it. Especially because season 2 is still going to be Born Again. So we have more to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Nate in chat saying no more place for Heather to crash at. She can save herself. Yeah. And I was going to say, I think, again, going back to how the show uses all of its side characters, Heather's another great example where now Fisk has her at the palm of his hands. Like making her part of his like advisors and trusted advisors and part of his like group of people. That we only know that is going to end bad for somebody. Probably being Heather.
She took it. I can't believe it. I was like, damn, I didn't think she was gonna take it.
I can though.
Health
I can though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can too, but I don't know why.
If you think about it, her boyfriend is somebody who is obsessed with this person. She doesn't really understand why. So she will probably want to kind of understand what his obsession is, but also from a therapeutic standpoint or from a therapy standpoint, him and Vanessa are a success story.
That's true. She did pretty good with them.
In her mind, we know that their reconciliation came from something completely different. But in her mind, she's like, I helped them. And they both of them are coming up to her being like, hey, you helped us. Thank you so much. Why wouldn't she accept it?
Yeah. I don't know. I just had a feeling that she would have like listened to Matt a little bit more of what he said about Kingpin and all of like the stuff about him and corruption and just how evil a person he was. But she just kind of threw that all out the window. Like she pretty much threw Matt out the window. But I don't know. Matt kind of the whole Heather and Matt relationship. I think people don't understand that like this dude was neglecting her so hard, doing all this
Absolutely.
other stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh, why is Heather acting like that?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense. I mean, look at Amber and Mark from Invincible and how.
I don't know.
Actually,
Amber.
no, that was a
I was
bad
gonna
one.
say Amber.
Amber was okay. Amber, no. Amber was she was kind of okay with Mark being a hero and stuff.
Yeah, but
I don't know,
but
but
to your point, he's neglecting her.
yeah,
He's coming home late, failing. He's being self-implosive, like he's self-destructive. Better said, he's being very self-destructive, and she's trying to help him, and he's basically like, no.
and she literally knows as a mental health person now, like it knows all the signs of someone's hiding something or like
Yeah,
something is up.
yeah, something's up, and it's a trust thing for her. Like, you don't trust me to say it, so why I can't help you. Like, for her, it's not just it's kind of the therapist standpoint of like, if you want, you need to want the help for me to help you. And he doesn't want it, both from a relationship standpoint and like honestly a
They should have
therapeutic
told her that
standpoint.
too.
Yeah.
He straight up told her that. I was like, I don't really care about this relationship. Obviously, she's gonna act like that to him after.
Yeah. And then every time he comes in, he's like, Fisk, Fisk. Oh my God. In her eyes. And then when she's like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, I can't tell you. As an
I wish she
audience, we
found
know.
out. I kind of wish she found out, but
I think she will.
I think well, she's working under Fisk now. She 100% will.
I think she will. Yeah. I don't think she's as hateable though as everybody made her out to be though.
No, I don't think so.
No. But yeah.
But like Nate said, I think she was like she did start off really cool and I was interested in her and kind of like their relationship and now it's like, yeah. Bring back Karen.
Yeah, we'll see where that kind of goes with her and Punisher and that little love triangle that they kind of have in between the three of them. The final character and final kind of piece I think we can stand or touch on before it ends is Matt and where he ends with all of this. And I think finally I think the biggest piece out of all of it was him finally accepting the fact that he needs help. Like he can't do it alone, both from Frank, from Karen, from all of everybody else that met up in Josie's bar. Like he can't do it alone. And I love when he's about to go into the port and she's like, you can't go in there. Like you will not come back out. And him accepting that was a nice change of the character because most of the time throughout the season when we see him go into action as both Matt Murdock and Daredevil, it's on his own.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. At the end, I mean, the biggest downfall of losing Foggy episode 1 was that he didn't have his rock that knew him like he did to keep him sane and calm and not humble, but kind of like kept him on his feet a little bit. Like even just the way he talks about Foggy to Karen, and then Karen's like, "I know you too, man." Like it's not just Foggy that knows you. Like for sure, Foggy knows more, but you get to see him kind of deal with that whole, like, he gets so blinded by that he doesn't know who he is, that he doesn't even remember that, like, Carrie knows that part of him and knows everything that Foggy knows about him and stuff, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah. He doesn't realize, he's so blinded, he doesn't realize that, like, he has a bigger support group than what he feels like he has.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Need Moon Knight in season 2. Get some real mental health in this.
bad mental health bros unite. Yeah, no, I will say though, for a minute they had me going. I genuinely thought that we were gonna get some sort of a big time cameo at the end, but I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they held off.
That's a good point I wanted to bring up too. The director specifically chose not to do that, so it kind of honored this season alone, and everyone, like, earlier in this episode I brought up how I wanted to specifically say during what was it? Brought up how everyone by the end of the season stayed in Matt's life, but it was beautiful that he kind of gathered everybody in that bar to show his true daredevilness to them and show why that, like, I think the season, all those characters developed into why that they deserve to be there.
Yes.
And then they go from there. It's like, I think adding a cameo, as cool as it would be, would have definitely made people's perceptions of, like, this side characters that we already have worse and kind of more forgettable.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I just think that it's a testament to what they wrote, though, to where for a minute we were like, oh man, are they? Are they? And then they're like, no, because this is why. And again,
I will say season 2, we better get some cameos though, because what the heck is Spider-Man and Thunderbolts and Avenger? I don't know what freaking time period we're in anymore. What anything's going on in New York City.
It's so interesting. I've seen a lot of people use that plot point to kind of throw a dig at the finale where they're like, New York sucks to be in. And I'm like, yeah, New York sucks to be in for other reasons other than that.
New York as a native, I'm not in the city, but New York sucks.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of knows that. But the way that I see it is that my bigger question is, why would they? Because this is what we have to think about, right? Technically, Fisk is not doing anything illegal.
No, you don't, Tommy.
Do I have to watch for Thunderbolts? As of right now, I want to say no, but we got to wait and see what happens in Thunderbolts. But as of right now, I don't think so either. But yeah, if you look at what Fisk is doing, unless you are somebody who has dealt with Fisk directly, which in the MCU is next to nobody, or somebody that is within his inner circle, again, you don't really know what he's doing. He's not doing anything illegal. He's doing questionable moral things using the task force in the universe, obviously. As the audience, we know what it's for and we know it's wrong, but look at the optics outside of it. Bullseye attack kind of went straight for his life. And then what does he say? Because of that, there was a huge power outage. But we fixed it. It's okay. And yeah, it was a power outage for one night. And guess what? In real life, that happens in New York. It hasn't happened in a minute, but it happens in New York. So, like, it would be kind of normal. Yeah, there were riots and people on the street, but, like, think about it. Why would Spider-Man show up and stop people rioting on the street? Not why, but realistically, he's not going to, because that's not his position, because the optics around it. And not only that, vigilantes are outlawed. Why would he put himself in that position? He's a hero. I get it and I hear it. But for that kind of stuff, I don't think they would. There's no reason he would go after Fisk specifically. because people think this
No
power outage is just something
corruption is
random.
going on also.
No.
That's another thing. Like, as we see, everything we see is Fist doing behind closed doors, obviously. So it's not like he could really go after him.
Yeah. It's like, what legal route do you have to go? You don't. Now you just look like a guy that's going after the mayor.
I mean, when it comes to like, I feel like Spider-Man would help out when people getting beaten up in riots and stuff like that, though, or if he sees like. But then I do understand that he wouldn't know exactly what to do, so he probably would stay out of it. It's one of those weird, especially if cops are involved, considering how Spider-Man's image with the cops is always hit or miss.
And then,
So yeah, but it's just still like you can't help but wonder what's going on in those damn lives. It's like the Spider-Man PS4 video games. I'm like, we got Avengers Tower right there. Both Spider-Man 1 and 2 got symbiote taking over New York. Where the heck everyone else at?
I think my major point though with that though is for those that are using it as like a negative of the show.
No, I don't think it's
for the finale.
It's just me being wanting Marvel to cook better, since or not cook better, but cook as much as they truly can.
Yeah, but then also think about this: you're viewing the show.
Also,
yeah, you're viewing the show through Daredevil's eyes and Fisk's eyes. They're not going to be focused on other superheroes.
No.
So it also, from a narrative standpoint, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's just the big fanboys we are that we want. Yeah.
It's like the whole Hawkeye Spider-Man swinging by the Christmas tree thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wish it would have happened, because I'm like, damn, that would have been cool as hell, but it is what it is. At the end of the day.
Yeah. Would you recommend the Penguin or Daredevil more? Haven't decided if I'm going to watch. SB?
I'm going to say Daredevil based off of Lou's response and how much he hyped it up earlier.
I would also agree.
I can't say I fully finished Penguin. That's the issue. Like, I haven't fully watched it all the way through, so that's why I can't really speak for Penguin too much. I've seen spoilers and kind of know what happens, but I haven't sat through the like 10 hours it takes to watch it.
Yeah. And both are fantastic. Both are very much well worth your time. If you only have time for one, though, I would say Daredevil.
Yeah.
My personal enjoyment in Daredevil was greater than that of Penguin. That is not a knock to Penguin at all. At all. And again, if you can, definitely watch the Penguin. But if you're picking one to watch first, watch Daredevil and then watch Penguin. Both are worth it. Both are worth it.
The universe that Daredevil's in is just bigger potential also. So I feel like just that alone, you should watch it first, so you're just ready for what's to come, because who knows when the heck else we're going to get anything Penguin Batverse related. We got plenty of time to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. Nate saying something that we missed earlier. With season 2 confirmed for March 2026, this will be the last MCU project to release before Doomsday. Could there be some nod to Daredevil entering the bigger picture by the end of that season? Maybe. I think he should be included somehow. But will he? I don't know. Because with the Secret Wars thing too, is that Secret Wars, the whole reason it's called Secret Wars, is that it was done in secret. Like, many people didn't really realize that the heroes were gone in the original run. And I think that's maybe how it starts off. The original run, people don't know that they're gone. They're just kind of whisked away. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens here. So could he be a part of it? Maybe. Should he be? Yes. Will he be? I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say to be determined. Percentage wise of it happening, 35%.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say 35% also.
Yeah.
As much as we want it to happen, kind of like what we were just saying with the whole interconnected hero and MCU stuff, I could see it just, especially knowing how Marvel deals with the TV shows into movies. I don't see it being referenced that much, but I don't know, because we are
Yeah.
getting some street level stuff in Doomsday with Cap and Thunderbolts. So, Thunderbolts in the Shadow took place in New York. We could get some references, and just that be it. Might be like, oh, a guy with some devil horns and a fat mare. That could be. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Kingpin brought up the guy that dresses like a spider, and that
Yeah.
was our Spider-Man reference. Something as simple as that. Would I want more? 100%. But even if they just do that little reference, I'd be okay with.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty. SB, any final thoughts on Daredevil or any final comments? I think we've covered most of it in most of the show before, season 2 comes out next year, and hopefully as we get more details.
Yes. Stay tuned to our social medias and our Discord. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and drop your final ratings and comments of the season, what your thoughts are, what you want for season 2 in this video, in our Discord, on our socials, anywhere to chat with us. As always, it was a pleasure. We're your favorite duo, not trio today, duo of hosts. And the 3 most important things that you got to do before next week's episode is to always keep watching, keep reading, and keep nerding out. And with that, peace out.